Hey everybody, Frank Finance here. Hope you're having a wonderful day. We got big news on Didi. I think Didi is going to be dropping, yes, dropping anywhere from 10 to 20%. That's a huge amount. Stick around and find out why. In today's video, I'm going to talk about why Didi was removed from the App Store, other outstanding investigations. We're also going to be talking about why I think that drop is going to happen and some trading strategies I think might be useful in a time, especially if you bought Didi right now, or if you're sitting on the sidelines and you're thinking, how do I use this to my advantage? So let's talk about it. Hey, if you don't mind, please smash the like button. It helps me out a lot. Now back to your content. So Didi IPO'd on Wednesday, June 30th. They came in the IPO price around $14 to $16 range there on the first day, and they were able to raise around $4.4 billion. So the biggest and most pressing problem facing Didi right now is they were completely removed from the App Store in China. The news of their app being banned from the App Store came off the heels of the Chinese government also going to them and saying they couldn't register any new users. So registering new users or being banned from the App Store, which one's worse? Well, banned from the App Store is worse. So they went from a bad thing to an even worse possible scenario type thing. People who currently have the app are still able to use it. They just can't get any new users, no downloads, and that's bad for growth. So why would Chinese regulators ban Didi from the App Store? Well, in their own words, they said, after checks and verification, the Didi app was found to be in serious violation of regulations in its collection and use of personal information. So apparently they had a big violation there. What Didi said in a statement was the company will strive to rectify any problems, improve its risk prevention awareness and technological capabilities, protect users' privacy and data security, and continue to provide secure and convenient services to its users. So one of the most concerning pieces about this thus far is Didi was told, apparently by regulators prior to the IPO that was on the 30th, that they may consider delaying their IPO due to some of these regulatory concerns that they had. So if this is true and it is verified in the future, this could have huge ripple effects, could be lawsuits facing Didi if this was something that they didn't disclose properly in their prospectus. So when will they get back on the App Store? That's the big question. It's definitely something that needs to happen if you're a Didi stakeholder or wanting to invest in them in the future. That relisting on the App Store has to happen. Otherwise, it's going to be bad for growth. They're not going to be able to move into new markets. It's just not good. You have to have your app on the App Store. It's just unviable for long-term success for Didi. So this is something that we need to know. I don't know if there's any precedence for this on a Chinese app being removed from the store and then put back. So I don't really have that kind of information on how long this could last. I'm hoping they can get it done within a week. I feel like that's pretty ambitious based off of how I've worked in government spaces. But a month would be, I feel like, pretty quick. If they're in several months, they're going to open up the door for rivals, and that's just not good. I mean, I believe they had 88% of the ride-hailing service in China. So that market, just how much they have control over the market right now is great, and it's a huge asset for Didi. And if they open up the door and they're just not there, new rivals will come in and people will start using those apps because they won't have any other choice. Hey, if you've liked this content so far, please consider subscribing. Also hit that like button. Now, before the IPO, we did know that there was an investigation outstanding. It was about antitrust concerns. When it comes to antitrust in China, they've been definitely going after some of the larger tech companies as of lately. They hit Alibaba recently with a $2.8 billion fine. Now, when it comes to Didi, there were two main reasons why they opened up this investigation. So the first one was they wanted to know if Didi used any competitive practices that squeezed out smaller rivals unfairly. And the second piece was to examine whether the pricing mechanism used by Didi's core ride-hailing business was transparent enough. As of making this video, the antitrust probe is still ongoing. we'll still need to wait and see if there's going to be a fine or some sort of punishment that comes out of it. Till then, we'll just have to keep and make sure we remember that there is this one thing that's outstanding that could come and hurt, another thing that could come and hurt Didi. As I mentioned earlier, Didi has somewhere around 88% of ride hailing going through their app currently. And when it comes to antitrust, I mean, 88% of any market is a huge market share. So Chinese regulators have proven that they do have a bite. They're not just barking, especially when it comes to some of these Chinese tech companies. They seem like they mean business when they go in there. I'm not saying that they're going to break up Didi. I don't know how they would break up a company that's really one core app is what makes up the majority of the company. But if they were to go after them just because of the market share, that's pretty huge. If you are, I mean, the good news is if you are an investor, you would get a percentage of each of those companies. So it's not super concerning there. You would have whatever percentage that they broke it up into. But it is a concern. The longer those investigations go on, the more uncertainty you have as an investor. And as an investing, you don't like uncertainty unless you're kind of swing trading or taking that to your advantage. But if you're long term, you're invested in this company, uncertainty is not your friend. If you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing. I do videos on investing, personal finance. Also, like the video. It helps me out a lot with the YouTube algorithm. Thanks so much for watching. Now to the content. All right, so as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I do believe Didi will drop by anywhere from 10 to 20% today. It's going to be a crazy day. Having your app removed from the store is huge. Is it going to decrease their revenues in the short term? No. Is it going to decrease the number of active users in the short term? No. But as I mentioned, it's going to open up the door for new competitors in the market, especially for those who don't currently have the app downloaded. So this is a huge opportunity for competitors to get their edge into the market. And this is a bad thing for Didi that has over around 88% of the market currently in ride hailing. So in general, there's probably three types of investors that care about Didi right now. There's those that invested at the IPO. What should I do now that I own it? There's people who were considering buying it at the IPO, such as myself, that didn't buy it yet. And then there's a third who say, look, there's money to be made here on every trade. What do we do? All right, so if you're in that first bucket, you bought Didi at the IPO, so you got it somewhere between $14 and $16 roughly. Here's the deal. I really do think that this is going to be dropping anywhere from 10 to 20%. This is not investment advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Please do your due diligence, but please watch out. Maybe set some stop losses here in this case. I do think there's some opportunity to buy Didi if you do believe them as a long-term company at a lower price here, because I do think this is huge news. It's going to have a big impact on the stock price. Please pay attention and be careful trading here. Hey, if you don't mind, please smash the like button. It helps me out a lot. Now back to your content. All right, so for the second type of investors, those who are considering an investment in Didi at the IPO but just hadn't pulled the trigger yet, such as myself. Now, I think right now we need to sit back, wait, let this stock drop a little bit, and we'll have some time to actually get more information as well as know about where it's going to settle. If you want to do this as a dollar cost average into it, I think it could continue to drop day over day. And so you may, if you do purchase it today, you may have another drop tomorrow, but I'm going to slowly get into this name. I'm not going to put in everything all at once because there is considerable risk with this investment. Again, not financial advice. All right, and lastly, there's the folks that like to make money with every kind of trade. So with this being a drop, there's going to be drops and there's going to be bumps. There's going to drop and it's going to bump back up. So you can swing trade this. There is lots of swing opportunities, I think, for this IPO. And especially with the news of it being banned. This is going to cause some big red days, and there's going to be a slight green day, and then big red days again. I could just imagine that's what's going to happen. So I do think there's a possibility to swing here. What it's going to swing around to, the way the market's been acting in the last year, you're having really, really steep action in one way or the other. It's been wild this last year. So if you are going to swing trade this, be very, very careful. Set stop losses whenever you do make your investment, and then just keep going. You're going to need to be very active on this trade. This is not something that you can just passively swing in and out of. So please pay attention if you are considering that type of trading. If you like this type of content, please consider subscribing. Also hit that like button. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. My name is Frank Finance, out.